Mark Rogers TV for iTalk SEC, here to preview Ole Miss and Boise State. The Broncos and the Rebels get it on Thursday night at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Ole Miss's Laquan Treadwell, coming off that great freshman season, 72 receptions, 5 touchdowns, about 9 yards per catch, was asked his impressions of the videotape that he saw of the Boise State cornerbacks. He simply said, quote, "They're small," end quote. Laquan Treadwell is 6'3", so he is going to tower over those Boise State cornerbacks. Dante Dion and Cleishon Page are both 5'9", and even their backups are 5'9". Brian Douglas and 5'10", Jonathan Moxey, and also the other cornerback, Mercy Maston, stands at 5'11". So Laquan Treadwell, yes, going to tower over those Boise State cornerbacks, and that should be a huge advantage for this Ole Miss passing game. To be fair, the Ole Miss cornerbacks themselves are 5'9" and 5'10". So let's talk about the Ole Miss advantage on offense, because it starts right there in the passing game with Treadwell. It also goes to the tight end in Evan Ingram, who's coming off a very productive freshman season, and he's going to be much more integral in this Ole Miss passing game with the absence of Dante Moncrief. Let's go back to Bo Wallace at 6'4", 217, and in his final season in Oxford, he wants to win an SEC championship. The Rebels have not won the conference since 1963, have not made it to the SEC championship game since the conference championship game started in 1992. The only team in the SEC Western Division, excluding, of course, Texas A&M, that has not made it all the way to Atlanta. So Ole Miss wants the season to start in Atlanta and to end with an SEC championship game in Atlanta. Hugh Freeze is saying that Bo Wallace is primed for a huge senior season. He could finish as one of the top 10 passers in the history of the SEC and could break a lot of Eli Manning's career passing records at Ole Miss. He's a better leader, a more accurate passer, making better decisions. Hugh Freeze loves what he sees out of his senior quarterback heading into 2014. For Ole Miss, they're also going to have a huge advantage along the offensive front, averaging about 320 pounds per man along the offensive line, led by Laramie Tunsil, a guy who came in as the number 1 rated left tackle out of high school and really proved that he was worth that type of rating as he started most of the season for Ole Miss. He got his first start actually against one of the Big 12's better defensive tackles in Jackson Jeffcoat, and Laramie Tunsil did not let Jackson Jeffcoat into the backfield as Ole Miss won one of its biggest games of 2013 over Texas by 3 touchdowns, and Tunsil went on to become a freshman All-America. So he is primed to take the next step, like Laquan Treadwell and Robert Nkemdiche on the defensive side of the football, going from a great freshman season, and that ceiling is still very high for those 3 great talents for Ole Miss. The Broncos are coming off their worst season since 2008 at 8-5. This is a program that has joined the elite of college football. Think about this. Coming out of the Mountain West Conference, they are 6-2 against ranked opponents outside of the Mountain West Conference, most notably in 2011, just 3 seasons ago, taking on Georgia of the SEC. And remember that Georgia team went all the way to the conference championship game, and Boise State really took them out 35-21 in the season opener. But again, that was a Kellen Moore-led top 5 Boise State team that only went 12-1. And this Boise State team, though very competent, very capable, has recruited well, is not quite what Boise State was about 5 years ago. They have lost the coach that took them to the elite of college football, that made them a BCS Buster type program. Chris Peterson has moved on to the University of Washington, replaced by Bryan Harsin, who was in the Boise State program as an assistant from 2001 to 2010. So Ole Miss has advantages all over the place, size advantages along the offensive front that we talked about, speed and athletic advantages on the outside, and also on a defense that returns 10 starters. So Mike Mary, who wore that Chucky Mullins number 38 at the heart and soul of that defense, he's gone from 2013, but everybody else is back, including, we talked about Robert Nkemdiche, who I'm guessing is going to exceed that 3.5 sacks he had as a freshman, and also at safety, Cody Pruitt one of the best in the business with 6 interceptions to lead the SEC in 2013. My take on Ole Miss and Boise State is that the Rebels just have too much for Boise State. Yes, Boise State will come in, they will compete, they will play sound fundamental football, but they just don't have enough on offense or on defense. We're talking about a defensive secondary that, again, is not just smallish, but smallish statistically. 73rd against the pass in pass efficiency defense last season in 2013. They gave up 320 yards passing per game and really got torched by the 2 Power 5 conference teams that they played when they lost to Oregon State in the Hawaii Bowl, and also lost another matchup to Washington 38-6 last season. So it's Ole Miss and Boise State. Should be an entertaining football game for much of the game, but I expect the Rebels to break free late in the game and win this one like 31-13. Ole Miss and Boise State, again, at the Georgia Dome on Thursday night. For iTalk SEC, this is Mark Rogers TV.